As usual, let's start with our chords. 4-bar chord loop. So it's an G sharp minor, E major, B major, and F sharp major. And without these notes, this chord progression doesn't feel that interesting or unique, it's just really too simple. And then add them back in. And a simple thing to do in the beginning or the intro of the track is just to remove some of the chords from the original chord progression and make them 2-bar long, and then it cuts to this chord progression. It holds the entire track together. This is just a regular Lap's piano with additional Valhalla delay, which I use primarily for a reverb. In the plate section, hi-fi modulated plate, really good one. Then we have another layer of chords, and these ones just add more movement to the overall chord progression, because I used here a shaper box with this stutter preset, one of the standard ones. Then we have a pad here, which are just the same chords that I showed you previously. A Generate synth pad. I love pads here, I already talked about them on this channel. And another plugin that I use for the pad is Wider at the maximum 200% with a low bypass around 350 Hz. It really helps to open up the pad and make it like fully stereo. Then we have our melody. It's a simple trick to make our melodies stand out more, but it just works. So we have just our plug sounds, and as you can see, we have our patterns here, and here we have like the small gaps in our melodies, and this pattern just fills those gaps. This trick is usually called call and response type melodies. So this melody will be a call and this one will be a response one. These are just some Serum plugs that I used. The first one is with a ton of reverb, with Valhalla shimmer, a little bit of auto filtering, and just Valhalla delay with a really low mix. And this one is just without any post-processing. Then we have our bass group with just a compressor to sidechain the kick and 2 basses. The first one is a simple sub bass in Serum with cutting all the high frequencies, but not too low, somewhere around 1K, just leaving a little bit of mid-range room for the sub. And as usual, the bass notes are just duplicated root notes from our chord progression, just 2 octaves lower. And then we have another bass, which is orchestral bass. This one is more mid-rangey and it's from BBC Symphony Orchestra. Just a great plugin, I highly recommend it because it's free and just it has a lot of different instruments, and the bass here is kinda unique and gives more spice to the overall bass sound. Then we have our bass hits, which kinda help transitioning between each 8-bar loop. These are just some one-shot basses with a lot of processing, like with V-clip, just to saturate them and make them louder and more gnarly. Some OTT compression, EQ8 to cut all the low frequencies because we still have our sub bass, and some Valhalla delay with a reverb preset just to place these bass shots in the mix better. Then we have this atmospheric loop in the background, which works kinda as a pad as well. This one also just has an EQ8 just to cut all the high frequencies. Like this. So the drums, as usual, are the highlights of any liquid drum and bass track. The only thing that I did with the kick with post-processing is to put utility on the mono and nothing else. Then we have our snares group. These are just 2 snares layered on top of each other to create like more interesting pattern, and they're sharp, crisp, right in the middle, nothing special. The only thing is added is Wider plugin as well to make them more stereo, and then we just layer some of the snares with an additional clap. With claps, I felt like utility widening was a little bit better than Wider plugin, so I chose that. And the hi-hats are, as usual, from one ear to another, thing that I like to do usually. just two separated channels, one on the right, one on the left. I showed you this trick a couple of times on this channel as well. Some percussion loops, some top drum loops, reversed rides just to make this transition between 8-bar loops more interesting, some sweeps for transitioning as well, some atmospheric effects, and the whole drum section, as you can see, has a lot of processing here. So the drum bus is just saturating the drums a little bit, just 10% on the drive, 10% on the crunch, multiband dynamics, increasing the output of high end and low end, some glue compression, -7 decibels, and makeup around 7 decibels to make drums punchier and tighter, and some auto filtering for transitions as well for the entire group. And on the master channel, Ghoul Fuzz, a simple thing to add, a Sooth 2, which I advertised so much on this channel. I love this plugin. Some low mid cleanup here as well. Fab filter just to brighten the high end of the sound a little bit, like +3.5 decibels. Frontier master compression, just -2 decibels here, and makeup around 1.2 or 3 decibels, somewhere around here. Additional loudness meter just to check yourself, and the limiter at the end, -0.3 decibels, the classic one on this channel already. And yeah, this track is out on all the platforms that you know, Spotify, SoundCloud, everything else, link in the description. And I hope you like this video, thank you for watching and thank you for listening, and bye!